Hey, how's it going? That's right, today I'm back with another video, a week after my previous one. Today, we're going to be talking about something a little different. Actually, it's vastly different from anything I've talked about on my channel so far. Green Day. More modernly known as a rock band, it was originally very punk. The band was formed around the 1980s, and they made many hit albums such as Dookie, Nimrod, with some songs like Basket Case and Good Riddance. I myself have been listening to them a lot lately. But why am I talking specifically about them? Well, on September 21st, 2004, Green Day released one of their most well-known albums. Its cover practically covering the walls of your local Hot Topic. And that album is American Idiot. American Idiot features a lot of songs that were popular on the radio at the time, and it was a certified hit compared to their last album, Warning. But I think something often overlooked by the common music listener is that American Idiot isn't just a normal album, but one that attempts to tell a story through most of its songs. I'm sure a lot of people know about the hidden lore, I guess, but I think many others don't know. Also, the order in which the songs chronologically tell the story aren't official, and people can only speculate off of context clues given throughout the songs. So today, I am to tell my interpretation of the story of American Idiot and what it's trying to say. But before we get into that, I want to thank everyone for supporting the channel. I did not expect my last video to get more than like 5 views, and it's pretty cool to see people enjoying the things I put out. I have a lot of ideas ready too, and I am planning to try and make a video every week. So if you want to stick around, make sure to subscribe to the channel because I'll be talking about a lot more cool things in the future. American Idiot has 13, I can't do that with fingers. It has 13 songs. And according to Spotify, it only has 9, but that's because the album tries to artistically combine songs together to make like better transitions and stuff like that. There are 4 songs on the album though that I don't really consider to be part of the American Idiot story. Those songs are Holiday, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Wake Me Up When September Ends, and American Idiot. Holiday and American Idiot are songs talking about the band's political stance on the United States and their involvement in the media and the current event that was happening at the time for the album, the war in Iraq. Wake Me Up When September Ends is about the struggle the lead singer Billy Joe Armstrong faces during the month of September, which was the month in which his father passed away. Not only do these songs cover different topics unrelated to the album, but they don't mention any of the main characters in the album, which every other song does. I'll talk more on that in a minute. I'm also aware that there is a Broadway musical and a book for that musical. The musical adds a lot of songs to help aid the performance, and it also is a semi-different story than the one being told in the album itself. Although yes, they are both based on the story the album is trying to tell, there's a lot you can add in that space in order to make it more entertaining for an audience visually, so I think they shouldn't be involved when discussing the album itself. Alright, now that we got the preface out of the way, let's talk about the first song in our story, Jesus of Suburbia. The main character of this entire album is the name of this song, Jesus of Suburbia. This song talks about how the main character, Jesus of Suburbia, feels like he isn't doing anything in the town he lives in, saying instead of doing anything, he waits for his TV to get fixed for entertainment. Jesus of Suburbia commonly drinks alcohol, smokes cigarettes and weed, and also does a little funny goofy powder. I'm talking about cocaine. Which makes him feel like crap and like he is simply sitting in his misery on the couch all day. He says that once he went to 7-Eleven and figured out that the motto, home is where your heart is a complete lie because the people around you don't feel the same way. Now I think at this point, Jesus of Suburbia meets a girl who the album refers to as What's Her Name. Jesus of Suburbia sees that she has a very rebellious side to her, sings about her in the song She's a Rebel. The spark in her spirits is enough for Jesus of Suburbia to find a reason to keep going in life and fix things. In this song is the lyric, and she's holding on my heart like a hand grenade, which is literally depicted on the cover of the album. What's Her Name is really important to Jesus of Suburbia, and I think the song is trying to say that he's kind of in love with her. In the second half of the song Jesus of Suburbia is attempting to convince What's Her Name to move out of the boring town they live in and instead move into the city to run away from not only the mindless people, but to find himself. What's Her Name agrees. Jesus of Suburbia celebrates escaping from the boring old town that got him nowhere. The next song in our story is Are We the Waiting, where Jesus of Suburbia experiences the wonders of the new city as he gazes at the beautiful sky as well as the long skyscrapers. He thinks about how the dirty town he used to live in was nothing compared to this city. He thought this city only existed in his dreams. He realizes the person he is not who he's supposed to be, thus claiming the Jesus of Suburbia is a lie. The next song that is connected to the previous song in the album is Saint Jimmy. In the previous song, Jesus of Suburbia realizes he isn't who he's supposed to be, so he takes up a new name, Saint Jimmy. Jimmy is very different. He does a lot of partying, doing like drugs and other outrageous acts, which those outrageous acts could be considered like suicidal. His life gets overly involved in doing crime, and he even threatens to kill people who get on his nerves. All of this has caused What's-Her-Name to be very concerned about Jimmy, who never seems to come home anymore. Partying, drugs, and crime is too much for her, and she ends up all alone crying in fear of what shenanigans Jimmy's... I knew it was going to happen. My light just fell from the ceiling. That was terrifying. So I'm going to keep that down there, but goddamn, I knew it was going to happen. I was focusing on reading the script. That was scary. Anyway, his self-hatred and overall suicidal tendencies causes pain and agony for What's-Her-Name. Oh yeah, and the song about this is called Extraordinary Girl. One day, Jimmy's crimes goes too far, and he ends up practically burning down the city without feeling any remorse, any regret, or pretty much anything from it. The song itself is called Letter Bomb. So I'd like to think it's assumed he pulled like a Ted Kaczynski or something and sent a bomb in the mail which caused a fire. But up to interpretation. Anyway, after the incident, What's-Her-Name just can't take it anymore. She says she's leaving the city, and more importantly, she's leaving Jimmy. Now, according to Google, Novocaine is a medicine used to numb skin, and it's usually used during really painful occasions like surgery and dental stuff. Well, the name of this next song is called Novocaine, and you're like, what, does Jimmy get a surgery or something like that? No. Obviously, Jimmy felt like shit after his breakup. He begs for the pain of his broken heart to go away and wishes that he could get Novocaine, the name of the song, to stop his misery. He also eventually realizes that Saint Jimmy is not who he's supposed to be, so he decides to return to being the Jesus of Suburbia. All he hopes for is one more good night or a kiss from What's-Her-Name, but tragically, he'll never see her again. Then, Jesus of Suburbia writes a letter to What's-Her-Name in the song Homecoming, asking her if she went back to the old town that they both used to live in. He also says that Saint Jimmy was wrong and that his behavior is to be blamed on his mom and dad for how he was raised. He then writes that Saint Jimmy is gone now and that side of him was killed off in his own private suicide. He tells her that he's still thinking of her. He then decides that he himself is going home. Maybe to see her again. More importantly, get away from the city that made him a delusional narcissist that lost his girlfriend. Years pass, and he never sees What's-Her-Name. In the song What's-Her-Name, he reflects on their relationship, having a dream about running into her on the street. He then talks about how he burned all the photographs of her to forget her, but he can still remember her face. But probably the most important part of the song is he can't remember her name, which is why the album refers to her as What's-Her-Name. He wonders if she ever married and admits that she is still on his mind very often, since she was the one to truly help him realize who he truly was. This song, I feel, is probably the most important song in the album. Through my first few listens of the album, it sounds like the songs are revealing the story and we are following the narrator throughout them. But I think this song shows us that we're actually listening to the Jesus of Suburbia tell the story of losing the girl of his dreams. He's singing us this story to tell the mistakes he made, solely focusing on trying to become the person he wanted to be rather than loving the extraordinary girl that he let leave his grasp. This album is really good, and the story is extremely sentimental. It's not a very happy ending, I won't lie, but that's the point that Green Day was trying to make. Something I also like about this album that I noticed that doesn't really fit into the video at all is that Billie Joe Armstrong uses more of a hostile British accent when singing as Saint Jimmy, as opposed to his normal singing voice as Jesus of Suburbia. If you think the 4 other songs I claim to be not part of the story actually fit into the story, let me know where you think they would fit into the story in the comments below. Also, let me know what your thoughts are on the story of American Idiot. And make sure to like the video for more video essay / theory videos. Next video, I'll be talking about FNAF again, so stay tuned for that. Happy 19th anniversary to American Idiot, and I'll see you in the future.